After the fight with the Upper Moon, 6 siblings ended, Tanjiro and the crew got found by the Demon Slayer Corps' undercover squad. Meanwhile, in Infinity Castle, a space created by Demon King Muzan, the A's are wandering around like they're just messing with toys. And Muzan can summon all 12 Upper Moons here anytime he wants, no cap. Even Akaza gets why Muzan called all the Upper Moons here. It's 'cause the Upper Moon's 6 siblings just got wrecked by the Demon Slayer Corps. Akaza jumped across multiple dimensions to get to the meeting spot, and after a Pippa strum, the whole space snapped back to normal. Next up, popping out of that jar, Upper Moon 5, Gyako. This dude's a demon, with messy eyes and lips, but somehow the hottest in the Upper Moon squad, plus a super savage mouth. He keeps trolling Akaza. Even Upper Moon 3 is getting mad, while Upper Moon 4, Hantung-u, is hiding 'cause he's terrified these two will start beefing. But Akaza couldn't care less about Upper 5 or 4, since they're weaker. So the only ones on his radar are Muzan and Upper 1 and 2. The moment Akaza mentions their names, Upper 2, Duma, pops up from behind. Akaza's hot-headed, and Domas got a mouth just as shady as Gyako's, letting Akaza know he just stuffed a bunch of women into the jar. Gyako, gifted, major flex. For someone like Akaza, who's all about respecting women, that's straight up offensive. So Akaza clocks Doma in the mouth, but no biggie, Upper to heals instantly. Meanwhile, the servant tells Akaza Upper 1 has been chilling there the whole time, and Muzan's cooking up demon blood, letting the Upper Moons know that the Upper Moon 6 siblings, Gyutaro and Daki, got taken out by the Demon Slayer Corps. Doma then apologizes to Muzan, 'cause Gyutaro was the dude he recommended for Upper Moon status. Truth is, Muzan already saw the Upper Moon 6 losing coming. Daki was too weak, basically tripping Gyutaro up the whole time. After Upper Moon 6 died, Muzan went full rage mode, calling all Upper Moons useless. 'Cause in hundreds of years, none of them finished a single job he gave, whether it was killing the Demon Slayer Corps or finding blue spider lilies for him. The other Upper Moons are straight up shook of Muzan. Only Upper 1 and 2 are chill, apologizing to their boss. Gyako, Upper 5, with his savage mouth, gets scolded by Muzan. Dude's clearly trolling while the boss is fuming. But Upper 5's actually useful, bringing Muzan valuable intel. So the Demon King sends him and Upper 4 Hantengu to the blacksmith village to dig deeper into the info he collected. Gyako's Loki, thrilled just getting Muzan's head pat. Doma rolls up to Gyako to scoop intel and asks to go on the mission together. But Akaza, not vibing with Duma, pops him in the head like not your business, bro. Upper 1 slices at Akaza for showing disrespect to the hierarchy. Upper 1 Kakashibo says if Akaza isn't down with it, he can challenge for a bloody duel to settle the ranks. Doma thinks no matter how much Akaza fights, he can't beat either of them. Akaza's fuming and vows to massacre both of them in the future. Upper 1's, like Yaven, better grind hard, bro. Akaza bounces outta Infinity Castle without needing the servant to warp him. Gyako's tired of walking, so he gets the servant to teleport him near the blacksmith village. Doma wants to tag along, but everyone's doing their own thing. Even begging the servant won't work. She literally uses her Pippa to kick him back home. Ouch. Meanwhile, Tanjiro's having a vivid dream about his ancestors. A guy who looks just like him, Sumiyoshi, is thanking a swordsman for saving his fam. This swordsman, Yorichi, wields the sun-breathing technique, and he passes on the flame god dance to Tanjiro's ancestors. Sumiyoshi promises to find Yorichi's successor and tells future generations to honor him. But Yorichi's humble, saying he's useless and doesn't need the recognition. He couldn't even protect the people he loved most. These words hit Tanjiro deep, and he wakes up right after. It's been 2 months since the Upper Moon 6 fight, and he finally wakes up. Kanao so shocked she drops a vase, pure happiness all over her face. According to a guy named Gotu, from the Demon Slayer Corps' undercover squad, 2 months ago he went to a red light district and rescued Tanjiro's crew, earning mad respect. All 3 young guys have already become badass swordsmen. Straight up legendary. And now he's bringing a sponge cake to Tanjiro again. Heard the dude's nose is hella sharp, might wake him up just from the smell. But when he gets there, Goto's mad AF having to clean up the broken vase for Kanao, and OFC Tanjiro just randomly wakes up. So he freaks out and yells at Kanao, non-stop, because Tanjiro woke up without giving any heads. Then Goto calls the girls to check on Tanjiro, and when Aoi hears the news, she bolts over like a madwoman, everyone thinking she's some kinda demon. Seeing all the love from everyone, Tanjiro's totally touched. Goto also reports that Zenitsu just woke up. Hashira can bounce after the battle's over, while Aoi keeps crying over Inosuke. So, Tanjiro figures he should get his eyes checked, cause clearly, Inosuke is all over everyone's heads. And as usual, Inosuke shits on Tanjiro for being a weak little bro, after being up for 7 days straight, and now, Tanjiro just wakes up. Inosuke's smug face makes Goto low-key hate him. So he trolls Inosuke, who instantly gets triggered and wants to throw hands. And when it gets too noisy, Kanao screams to scatter the crowd, wanting Tanjiro's spot chill so he can rest and recover fast. After a week, Tanjiro's officially fully recovered. Inosuke already left for missions days ago. Zenitsu complains, as usual, during his missions. But just thinking of Aoi waiting at home instantly cheers him up. Tanjiro keeps grinding to regain his strength, and while stretching, he asks the girls about his sword. So the girls hand him a heartfelt letter from Uncle Blacksmith Hoganozuka, basically saying he won't forgive Tanjiro for chipping his sword. Tanjiro freaks out, thinking the uncle's gonna grab a knife and chase him again. Seeing the uncle's super uptight, the girls suggest he visit the blacksmith village to check on him. So next morning, Tanjiro heads out, but this village is hella secretive, so he has to blindfold, plug ears, even pinch his nose. And the hidden squad girl guides him by piggybacking him there. And along the way, they keep switching who's carrying him every few meters. Tanjiro's shook, like wow, this blacksmith village is super hush-hush. Even the Lord's crib is so hidden that demons can't sniff it out. After a day of running, Tanjiro finally reaches the blacksmith village. Deep in the mountains, but houses are fancy AF, plus, there's a hot spring too. Tanjiro visits the village chief, and in return for his kindness, the chief offers him snacks, which he devours like crazy. Tanjiro tells them Uncle Hoganozuka was pissed about the chipped sword, but they shrugged and say, Hoganozuka's just a weak-ass smith, that's why it broke. So they promise to drag Hoganozuka over to apologize immediately, leaving Tanjiro speechless at their boldness. The village chief knows Tanjiro's not 100% yet, so he recommends a hot spring soak to buff him up. Tanjiro checks out the village, watching how they forge swords for slayers like him, totally grateful for their insane craftsmanship. Finally, Tanjiro hits the hot spring, and when the news spreads, Love Hashira Mitsuri rushes over to greet him. She's worried her boobs are about to pop out, so Tanjiro helps cover them. At this moment, she mentions some dude in the Demon Slayer Corps ghosted her, so Tanjiro cheers her up, saying the kitchen's cooking some bomb mushrooms, and she's instantly happy. Tanjiro, at the hot spring sees a flying tooth, turns out it's Genya, the tough dude who tied with Tanjiro in the exams, and is Wind, Hashira's bro. So Tanjiro jumps in to chat, but Genya's too aggressive, leaving him speechless. Love Hashira Mitsuri eats like a beast, impressing Tanjiro, and she actually adores little Nezuko, unlike Wind, Hashira's bro. Speaking of Wind, Hashira Mitsuri spills that him and Genya don't really get along, leaving Tanjiro hella curious about what went down between them. So he decides to bring some rice balls to Genya's room as an invite, and asks Mitsuri why she joined the Demon Slayer Corps. Blushing, she admits she joined to find a future hubby. Since the Hashiras are all crazy strong, she wants to pin whoever she likes down, leaving Tanjiro speechless at her wild side. Arriving at Genya's room, he's nowhere to be found. The hidden squad girl says Love Hashira's sword is ready, so she's leaving to pick it up, saying bye to Tanjiro and Nezuko. Before leaving, she wishes Tanjiro and Nezuko more strength for upcoming battles, and Tanjiro promises to level up and take down Muzan. Mitsuri's heart blooms at his epic words, and she whispers a secret village weapon to Tanjiro to help slayers get stronger. Next morning, Tanjiro wakes up hella early to train, and smells food, so he dives in and stuffs his face. He then tells Nezuko he's heading out to find the secret weapon Mitsuri mentioned. The siblings stroll around the village and spot Mist Hashira Michiro. Looks like he's arguing with a young blacksmith. Nearby, Tanjiro spots a super familiar swordsman silhouette he'd seen in dreams, but it's just a dummy. Michiro's demanding the kid hand over the key to open the dummy, but the kid says it's a family heirloom, can't lend it. So, Hashira straight up slammed the kid to the ground and grabbed his neck, and Tanjiro had to step in, but no way he could yank Hashira's grip off. And to top it off, Tanjiro caught a punch to the chest from Hashira, leaving him gasping for air. Right then, Hashira tried to reach for Nezuko's box, so Tanjiro shoved his hand away and snatched the kid from Hashira's grasp. But the kid thought Tanjiro was after the key like Hashira, so he chased him off. Meanwhile, Hashira walked over and told the kid to hand over the key, pronto. Tanjiro knew a blacksmith's job is just making swords and helping the Hashiras, so he started his mind-blowing lecture for Hashira. He explained that forging swords is mega important, and without those swords, even the Hashiras couldn't do squat. Uncle Haganazuka heard Tanjiro's speech, but Hashira didn't care and knocked him out. When Tanjiro woke up, Uncle Haganazuka had already bolted. The kid, Kotetsu, thanked Tanjiro for protecting him earlier and revealed that the swordsman he saw was actually a mechanical dummy left by his family. The Hashiras often use this dummy to spar, since it moves exactly like a real human. Tanjiro got curious and went to watch Michiro spar. Seeing the dummy with 6 arms blew Tanjiro's mind. The kid explained it's modeled after a real swordsman, and all 6 arms are needed to mimic his moves. If the dummy breaks, no one can fix it, because the genius who made it, his dad, is dead. Kotetsu's just a useless kid in comparison. Tanjiro was amazed, watching Michiro spar evenly with the dummy. Then Michiro's messenger crow shouted, "He's a descendant of the sun-breathing guy." But Tanjiro's like, "He's breathing fire." Nah, the crow got salty and pecked Tanjiro right in the face. Tanjiro suddenly remembered that he'd seen that dummy swordsman in a dream, which made the crow laugh at him like he was making stuff up. Kotetsu, however, believed Tanjiro's dream was real, cause his villagers always said ancestors passed down memories to their descendants. Just then, they heard Hashira destroy the dummy, and Kotetsu assumed it was broken and went off to cry somewhere. Tanjiro searched and found Kotetsu sulking in a tree, so he encouraged the kid to stay strong and not get bummed out over the dummy. Kotetsu still thought he was useless, so Tanjiro gave him a playful flick on the nose. Tanjiro explained he's grinding every day to beat Muzan and save his sister. He might die before finishing this mission, but quitting, not an option, no matter what. After that pep talk, Kotetsu finally got it and listened. They went back to Michiro, who had finished his spar. Michiro even asked to borrow an arm and sword from the dummy, which made Kotetsu salty. Tanjiro was annoyed to messy crow, messy owner. Then Tanjiro and Kotetsu went to check on the dummy. Despite the pouring rain, they inspected it carefully. Luckily, it still works perfectly. Still salty about Hashira, Kotetsu forced Tanjiro to spar with it. He said Tanjiro absolutely had to become stronger than that clueless Hashira kid, so, from the next day, Tanjiro trained hard with Yoraichi's dummy. Each time he ate dirt, Kitetsu called him trash. Tanjiro also felt useless, seeing that younger Hashira could beat the dummy effortlessly. No matter how hard he tried, he kept getting wrecked. Kitetsu analyzed all of Tanjiro's weaknesses. He never attacks first, so the dummy dominates. Plus, his speed is snail level, so he gets slammed no matter what. If the dummy had a sword, Tanjiro would have been toast ages ago. Tanjiro could only take Kitetsu's roasting without arguing. Cause, honestly, Kitetsu's analysis was on point. It was the 5th day of training and Tanjiro hadn't eaten a thing. Kitetsu wouldn't let him eat until he beat Yoraichi's dummy. Tanjiro had never experienced training this hellish. Non-stop movement, with no breaks, no food. At times he felt like he was being reincarnated into another world. Suddenly, Tanjiro fell into the river and felt long arms groping him. Even underwater, he smelled a glowing stone and swam down to grab it. Back in reality, his nose got super sharp, letting him detect the dummy's moves. He twisted to dodge and slashed its leg. Only then did Kitetsu finally toss him some rice balls to refuel. After eating, Tanjiro got back to training hardcore. With his nose sharper, dodging the dummy became way easier. But when he jumped, he hesitated, scared of breaking the dummy. Kitetsu told him it's chill, even if it breaks. So, Tanjiro spun his sword, mid-air, and landed butt first, in the pain zone. Finally, he officially beat the dummy. Both of them were shocked to find a 300-year-old Sengoku-era sword hidden inside. Right when Tanjiro's sword was all chipped up, Kitetsu was like, "Yo, just grab this one instead." 'Cause the kid thinks swords, from the Warring States era, are top-tier quality, duh. Tanjiro Loki digs it too, but he's still shy, not ready to take it yet. But when the brothers pulled it out, hype turned to sad face. This sword was hella rusty. Like it's been 300 years untouched. There's no way it's in normal shape. Right then, they saw Uncle Haganozuka sprinting out of the forest. Dude's all beefed up and scary, making Tanjiro freak TF out. Haganozuka demanded the sword from Tanjiro, but neither he nor Kitetsu was giving in. Uncle's like, "Hand it over," but he's literally wrestling it out of their hands. Tanjiro's confused as hell. Eventually, Haganozuka straight up won over the Tanjiro brothers. But then Kanamori tickled him so hard, he legit passed out on the spot. If you forgot, this is the guy who forged Inosuke's sword. Kanamori spilled that Haganozuka had been hiding in the mountains all these days to craft a proper sword for Tanjiro, which made him tear up Loki. But other swordsmiths kinda hate Haganozuka, so he's got a grumpy streak. So, when Kitetsu talked smack about him, he was ready to beat the kid up on the spot. After chilling out, Haganozuka promised to take care of Tanjiro's messed up sword. While waiting for it to be fixed, he'll hook him up with a brand new blade. That night, Tanjiro rolled up to Genya's room, trying to vibe with him. But the second Genya saw him, dude was instantly annoyed, 'cause he's still salty about that time Tanjiro snapped his arm before. So much that even when Tanjiro offered snacks, he pouted and refused. Tanjiro noticed Genya's teeth had grown back, even though he lost a front tooth at the hot spring. And when Genya denied it, Tanjiro pulled out the tooth he'd found in the spring. Genya straight up thought Tanjiro was some weirdo collecting random teeth, so he kicked him back to his room. Looks like Nezuko's loving the Hashira hairstyle, so Tanjiro's just rolling with it. He's also low-key scheming on how to get closer to Genya. After braiding Nezuko's hair, he stepped outside to chill and watch the moon with her. The moon's popping tonight, but outside the village, upper rank 5 just showed up with his jar. Some blacksmith thought it was someone's lost jar, but in a blink, Gyako straight up swallowed him whole. The guy didn't even scream. But Gyako immediately complained the blacksmith meat was trash. Now he wants a proper swordsman meat fix to feel satisfied. While Tanjiro and Nezuko were snoozing in a big brosis hug, upper rank 4 snuck into the village. Seems upper rank 5, Gyako, scoped the village ahead of time, and on Muzan's orders, these two came to attack. Wiping everyone here out would definitely nerf the Demon Slayer Corps' power. Michiro hit up Tanjiro, asking about Kanamori's sword forge, since this guy's gonna be the new swordsmith for the Hashira. Tanjiro has no clue where Haganazuka is, so he's like, Hashira, let's go find him together. Hashira thinks Tanjiro's mad, wholesome, for always caring about others, even with a ton on his plate, even with all his stuff to do. Plus, Tanjiro's got this super mischievous little sis, and Hashira says he's never seen anything cuter. Technically, Michiro met Nezuko at the Hashira meeting, but Hashira's kinda spaced, so he doesn't remember. Suddenly, they hear knocking outside, and all three jump. Front door opens up a rank for crawling in. Tanjiro's nose is sharp, but even he can't sniff this guy coming. Hashira powers up mist breathing and swings immediately. But this dude dodges like lightning, so no hit. Tanjiro hits with the flame dance move, trying to slam him down. Nezuko grows huge and boots him in the gut, making him scream in pain. Hashira swings for the decap, but Tanjiro stays hella alert. 'Cause even if the upper ranks get their heads chopped, doesn't mean they're dead. And this dude, not only alive, but splits into 2 bodies in seconds. And just with a fan, one dude literally launched Hashira and Tanjiro straight out of the room. Hashira got tossed way out of sight, but Tanjiro got lucky. Nezuko held him back. The 2 demons in front, one's rocking a fan, the other's got a staff. So Tanjiro figured he gotta take both their heads at the same time to actually kill M. The staff dude unleashed his blood demon art and zapped Tanjiro stiff with lightning. Meanwhile, Scarface Genya popped up, and just 2 shots later, boom, both demon heads flew off. But their heads were still stuck on their necks, so Genya grabbed his sword, dead set on chopping M off for real. Tanjiro warned Genya that these dudes split into multiple bodies' heads aren't even their weak spots. No sooner said than done. The upper moon for split into 4 separate bodies. One of M grew wings and swooped Tanjiro away before Nezuko could grab him. Down below, Genya took a spear right in the gut. So Tanjiro yelled at Nezuko to back him up, fast. Tanjiro then sliced off its leg with the flame god dance, but the demon's scream made him cough up blood. Then Tanjiro plummeted down, thinking he shook it, but its leg sprouted a new head. Ugh, classic demon move. Hashira was trying to rush back to help everyone, but got flung mad far from his original spot by the fan demon. On his way back, Hashira saw Kimetsu struggling against a freaky fish demon. At first, Hashira thought of ditching Kimetsu to rush to Tanjiro faster, but remembering Tanjiro's kindness, he turned back and sliced off the fish demon's arm in one clean swing. Then he told Kimetsu to hide while he soloed the demon. Hashira got into stance, swung once, and bam, the fish head popped right off. If this was a normal fish, yeah, it'd be soup by now, but Nit's blood demon art. Its head regenerated in seconds. Hashira realized the vase thing was the weak spot. He aimed for it, and finally, poof, it vanished. Kimetsu didn't like Hashira, but after being saved, he hugged him, freaked out with thanks, and even apologized for calling him seaweed hair. But Hashira had to get back to Tanjiro. Time for chit-chat. Kimetsu begged him to swing by the village first to save Haganazuka and Kanamori. They're busy reforging swords and can't take a break right now. Hashira's, usually stone cold, barely shows feels, doesn't care about anyone, but the boss once said if he starts caring for others, maybe his emotions and memories could come back. So Hashira grabbed Kimetsu and bolted to the swordsmiths, determined to protect the village and repay the boss' trust. Meanwhile, Tanjiro was about to catch a scream from the winged demon. Reflexes kicked in. He swung half its head gone and, boom, it split into 2. Tanjiro had to endure screams from both mouths, but their damage was way weaker. He figured the more they split, the weaker they get. Those for earlier were the strongest clones of Upper Moon 4. So he sealed the two mouths with his sword to shut them up. Then he plotted how to take down the flying demon and rush back to Nes. With its mouths gone, it couldn't split anymore, but flying like that, Tanjiro couldn't land a hit. He gritted through the pain, prepping for a counterattack. The demon thought Tanjiro was just taking hits, not realizing he'd already stabbed it somewhere. Furious, it tried to scream at him, so Tanjiro split its mouth in two. Its regen was still insane. Then it flew high to keep distance, couldn't go face to face. It resorted to sneak bites to weaken him. Genya got pinned, while Nezuko was duking it out with the fan demon. These guys thought they could take out Genya and Nezuko at once, but just then, Genya grabbed his gun and blasted off the spear demon's headbutt. That wasn't enough to kill it. The demon yanked its spear back, making Genya bleed like crazy. The spear demon healed instantly, thought Genya was toast, but Scarface was still mumbling his prayers. The demon wanted to finish him off, no more whining. Suddenly Genya flanked it, but the staff dude zapped him with lightning to hold him down. Still, Genya squeezed the trigger and blew off one of its arms, leaving it shocked. Like, what the hell is this dude's power? Meanwhile, Nezuko just took a savage kick from the fan-wielding demon. Everyone thought she was done for. But nah, she suddenly hits back with an even nastier kick than his. Then she used her own blood to unleash her blood demon art, straight up roasting this fan demon. While he's screaming, Nezuko snaps his arm and borrows his fan for a sec. One flick, and boom, he's flying off like a rat. But the staff-wielding demon ain't no pushover. Nezuko gets smacked in the throat. Then he lashes out, trying to pin her down. Meanwhile, Genya, the ultimate tank, is still chanting his prayers. Even the spear demons, scared he already stabbed Genya a bunch, and the dude's still standing. Genya even grabs his gun and sword, ready to spill more blood on this demon. Tanjiro's still being held back by the flying demon, super stressed about Nezuko and Genya, and wants to take it down fast to get back to them. After a sec of thinking, Tanjiro's got a plan. He's gonna ride this demon's flight to save time. So he fakes a run to bait it, and when the demon's about to strike, Tanjiro dodges the claws, jumps, and jams his sword straight into its knee, all the way through its mouth. Savage. Plan works perfectly. Now he's got this demon to fly him back to the spot. Back at the scene, Tanjiro uses its body to crash the wall open. And there's Nezuko, pinned by the staff-wielding demon. The demon's mad and swings at Tanjiro, but he blocks the staff with the flying demon's leg. Since both demons share cells, its staff tricks won't work here. Tanjiro slashes at the demon's tongue to slow its regen. With the flying demon's leg, he frees Nezuko from the staff's grip. The staff demon recovers and attacks from behind, but Nezuko catches it and blasts it with her blood demon art flames. She keeps that fire going until the demon's completely toasted. But just then, the fan demon comes back, fan in hand, slamming Tanjiro and Nezuko into the floor. They get blown down a floor and straight up pass out. Meanwhile, the three demons regroup, ready to finish the siblings off. Elsewhere, the upper rank 5's fish demons invade the village, attacking the blacksmiths. Not being swordsmen, they're basically free-range snack for the fish. Mitsuri, the love pillar, hears the attack and immediately dashes out. Lucky for her, she's nearby, so she's gonna get there super quick. Heishira's on the way back to the village and spots a fish trying to climb a tree. Above, Mr. Kanamori's, shaking in fear, and with one swift slash Hashira slices the fish to save him. The blacksmiths, Kanamori, and Katetsu, are hyped, they're still alive. Hashira doesn't care about reunions, he's like, sword ready yet? His sword's almost done for, but Kanamori says it's ready. Tanjiro had already asked him earlier. Hashira's kinda shook that Tanjiro helped him low-key. The three of them rush off to grab the Nichiren sword for Hashira. Kanamori says, the house ahead is where he forged it. Michiro smells danger and holds Kanamori back. Turns out, Upper Rank 5's spirit bottle appeared here, like out of nowhere. Seems like he knows Michiro's a Hashira, so he pops out to greet him. Seeing Upper Rank 5's horrifying form, the two blacksmiths freak out. In the village, blacksmiths are still running, but these fish demons just munch on anything in sight. Mitsuri arrives and instantly slices one in a blink. Mad skills. She cleans up the rest just as fast. The blacksmiths are shook, they're cute and deadly with a sword. Mitsuri's insane. Meanwhile, the village chief gets grabbed by a fish, hand-sized grip. Nearby, lower-level swordsmen get wiped out too, nothing left standing. To take down the beast, Mitsuri shows up wielding a long, thin sword, forged painstakingly by the chief himself. With her first love-breathing move, Mitsuri charges forward with her sword. Then she unleashed some insanely slick sword moves that destroyed all 4 jars on the fish's back at once. And after it vanished, she ran over super quick and caught the village chief in her arms. Even though the demon just squeezed the life out of him, he was hyped aft to be held by a hot girl, making the Hashira speechless at his hopeless crush vibes. Back to Tanjiro, Nezuko is now stuck lugging her bro around to dodge the demon's attacks. Grabbing his staff, and when they got hit, the flying demon swooped in trying to sneak a bite. This time it's Tanjiro's turn to carry his sis and dash deeper into the house. Seeing it's wasting time, the staff-wielding demon sent the fan demon after them to finish them off. Tanjiro's brain is spinning, thinking of a way to keep these 3 from recovering. But before he could think further, the fan demon smacks them, sending Tanjiro and Nezuko flying outside. And that hit leveled the house in a blink. Tanjiro's frantically trying to pull Nezuko out of the rubble. And while those demons are hunting them, Nezuko's trying to use her blood to sync with Tanjiro's Nichiren blade. Tanjiro doesn't know her plan yet, so he's like, yo, chill, stop it. Over at the Hashira side, he's still in the intro chit-chat with Gyako, who flexes a masterpiece he just made. Inside the jar, tons of blacksmiths he captured were fused into one twisted body. And he left the surviving ones to slowly feel their pain, like lol, what a psycho. For real, Upper Moon 5, Gyako is hands down the nastiest demon the Hashiras have faced. His beak is hella teasing, just makes people mad but the emotionless Hashira stays calm, flexing his mist breathing. Then he charges and swings, but Gyako hops into another jar instantly. Gyako's like, yo, chill, I ain't done introing myself yet. But Hashira ain't phased, just keeps swinging at the demon. Seeing Hashira smash his precious jars gets him mad salty. So he screams, calling him someone who can't appreciate art. In his head, Hashira's scheming how to attack and snag the demon's head. Right then, Gyako unleashes his blood demon art, shooting out fish that launch spikes at him. Hashira dodges easily, but when they turn towards the blacksmith duo, he jumps in front to shield them. Then he tells the duo to run fast, so they don't trip him up. Gyako lets Hashira know he got pricked, basically paralyzing his whole body, then mocks him for trying to protect worthless lives, like the blacksmith duo. Hashira hears that, and remembers someone once said the exact same thing. But he can't remember who, so he just charges in to shut this demon's trashy beak. Even though Hashira chops off one arm, Gyako regenerates instantly. Then uses blood demon art to trap him in a water prison. Hashira can't break out no matter how hard he tries. 'Cause, in the water prison, he can't breathe to swing his sword. Meanwhile, Tanjiro's blade ignites after syncing with Nezuko's blood demon art. And it can even explode, so he calls it the Bloodburst Blade. In a flash, Tanjiro recalls Yoruichi through the family's inherited memories, and he had a black and red sword just like the one he's holding. The difference, Nezuko's blood makes it blaze like this. This blade's crazy strong, but using it could seriously injure or even cripple Tanjiro. But thinking of everyone who helped him, he's more determined than ever. With demon-slaying willpower, Tanjiro raises his sword toward the three demons. The flying demon charges at him, noticing him. The staff demon sees Tanjiro's blazing sword and flashes back to Yoruichi via Muzan's memories. 'Cause Tanjiro shows the demon slayer mark, holding a sword just like his. With one flame god dance, Tanjiro chops off the flying demon's head, then the fan demon's head goes flying too. He doesn't stop there, keeping his sword to snatch the staff demon's head next. His slash forms a blazing fire dragon, decapitating all three demons in a single epic strike. At first, activating the demon slayer mark made Tanjiro's body super hot, but now he's fully used to it. Tanjiro turned to Genya and felt hyped, seeing he already snagged the spear demon's head. But as Tanjiro got closer, Genya's face had morphed into something straight up demonic. Tanjiro had zero clue what had hit Genya to make him look like that. Meanwhile, the upper moon for demons weren't poofing out of existence, even though Tanjiro and Genya had snagged all four of their heads at once. Seeing Nezuko wriggling, he dashed over to help his sis. Tanjiro remembered that weird scent he caught earlier, and figured there had gotta be a fifth demon, not just the four split ones. Suddenly, Genya zoomed in from afar and grabbed Tanjiro by the collar. Dude clearly wanted to solo this upper moon to flex his way into the pillars, not let Tanjiro steal the spotlight. But Tanjiro didn't really care about ranking, so he promised to team up with Nezuko to help Genya finish off the last demon. Just like that, Genya went from psycho mode to straight up admiring Tanjiro, but they couldn't chill and chat now because the spear demon had recovered. Tanjiro asked Genya to stay with Nezuko to hold off the four demons while he hunted down the fifth one. Worried Genya might still be loco, Tanjiro warned him to be careful not to blast baby Nezuko. Thanks to the fan-wielding demon spreading the scent, Tanjiro tried sniffing out where the fifth demon was hiding. After a bit, he spotted it curled up in a bush nearby. So he called out the location to Genya so he could end this little guy. Meanwhile, Tanjiro and Nezuko would stick around to back him up. The fight was still super tense. The flying demon and the fan demon weren't a threat to the siblings anymore. But the spear demon, that one, was next level danger. Tanjiro got caught off guard and got blown away by the fan demon. The spear demon readied a lightning strike to pin Tanjiro down. Nezuko tried to dash in to block it but got stabbed by the spear demon. She got stuck right there, struggling like crazy, but couldn't break free. The spear demon aimed to finish Nezuko, but Tanjiro lunged in and chopped off both its arms. Muzan had previously told this guy Tanjiro was just some random kid, nothing special. But now, his power and speed were way up. Thanks to Nezuko's blood demon art, Tanjiro hit a whole new power threshold. Nezuko freed herself from the spear and grabbed the demon's head. Then she incinerated it with her blood demon art. Tanjiro charged at the fan demon, but got slammed to the ground. The demon thought he was done for, but out of nowhere, Tanjiro smashed the fan off its hand. Tanjiro kept pinging Genya the location, but he still couldn't spot the fifth demon. Genya was stressed cause Tanjiro was getting beat up by the fan demon. After running around, Genya finally found the fifth demon right at his feet. He was shook. Turns out, his big scary opponent was just a tiny little mouse of a demon. He couldn't believe the four others were beasts, and this little dude only ran away. But its body was so tough that Genya's sword snapped on first contact. Even his gun couldn't touch this demon. Behind Genya, the spear demon was about to go straight for his neck. When folks are cornered, they flash back to their past to pull strength. Genya was born into a seriously violent bad situation, so his mom had to step up and raise the whole fam. His family was big, like Tanjiro's crew. That's why he always cared for and looked after his siblings. One night, Big Bro Sanemi went out looking for their mom, who hadn't come home yet. Genya wanted to go too, but was told to stay and watch the younger siblings. The kids couldn't sleep, missing mom badly. Then someone appeared at the door, and they all ran, thinking she was back. But it turned out, mom had turned into a demon, and one by one, his siblings fell in front of Genya. Big Bro Sanemi grabbed her and ran out of the house. Everything happened so fast, Genya couldn't even process what just went down. Genya ran out looking for a doctor as dawn broke. Right in front of him, Sanemi stood over their mom's corpse. Genya was hugging his mom in pure agony as she literally melted away in the sunlight. Like, this hit him hard. And now, stuck in danger, Genya's gotta shout out an apology to his older brother. 'Cause back then, he totally lost it and spat some harsh words at the pillar. Little did he know, his brother was hurting just as much, having to strike his own mom. Brutal, right? Back when their dad had just passed, Sanemi and Genya swore a sacred vow together to protect their mom and their siblings, no matter what. Even though those days are gone, Genya has to survive just to go back and say sorry to his brother. From birth, Genya couldn't use the breath techniques or those fancy swords. No matter how hard he tried, the pillars always thought he was unfit to join the Demon Slayer Corps. But then, a voice from afar reminded him, yo, quitting is not an option. And bam, Tanjiro dives in to save Genya, telling him to go all out and take down that demon one more time. Tanjiro promises to back him up fully, so Genya can actually become a legit pillar one day. Right then, a spear-wielding demon tried to sneak attack Tanjiro, but after the swing, Tanjiro realized he was totally fine. Plot twist. Behind him, Genya was all torn up because he had literally taken the hits to shield Tanjiro. Hero Vibes 100. Genya admitted he couldn't take down the fifth demon himself, so he passed the mission to Tanjiro. Big Bro Energy. So, Tanjiro left Genya behind and went hunting for the tiny, hyperspeed demon that's basically a ninja mouse on steroids. He lined up perfectly, swung his blood-enhanced blade, aiming dead center at the demon's neck. The demon screamed in pain, and even with Nezuko's blood demon art, Tanjiro's sword still couldn't sever the head. Oof, close call. Then, from behind, another demon popped up. Tanjiro immediately noticed it smelled totally different from the previous four. Suspicious vibes. Even in danger, Tanjiro tried to finish the tiny demon, but Nezuko's blood art just ran out, so he had to tap out. Sigh. Genya yelled from behind to dodge, 'cause he's gonna shoot, and all three are in a straight line. One wrong move, and boom, Tanjiro's toast. The demon hit a drum, shattering the space around them. From the ground, tree dragons popped up, ready to snack on Tanjiro. Major dodge moment. As Tanjiro almost got eaten, Nezuko swooped in to save him. She's a demon, so her limbs regrow in a sec. Total ninja heal. Then the sixth demon appeared right in front of him. Tanjiro froze in terror. The smells of the others were gone, leaving just this nightmare. Its presence alone made Tanjiro's whole body shake. Absolute intimidation energy. Even Genya had no clue where this demon came from, so he had to calm down and replay everything in his head. While Tanjiro was about to decapitate the tiny demon, the staff-wielding demon pulled both of its buddies over like puppets. In one swift move, it absorbed the two demons and then advanced to swallow the spear guy to even, as he begged, savage. After absorbing all three, the demon evolved. Turns out this thing is literally a fusion of all four demons combined. Absolute nightmare fuel. They were scary separately, but now fused. There's no way to stop this. Panic mode activated. Immediately, the fused demon shielded the tiny demon. Protective much, or just flexing power? This is probably the true upper moon, for its aura immobilized both Tanjiro and Genya. Game over vibes. It called Tanjiro and his squad evil. When Tanjiro asked why, it explained, big, strong bullies, picking on a weak oldie. Yeah, that's pure evil. Tanjiro's nose knew better. This dude's probably devoured hundreds of innocents, clearly off his rocker. And for him to dare call Tanjiro evil, no way, bro. Even if he's upper moon, Tanjiro's vow is to kill him, right here, right now. Genya still couldn't move, and the demon kept arguing with It's none of your business, I don't eat your family, it said. Rude much. But it didn't know, Tanjiro is the guy who helps everyone around him, just because he's a good human. Its words only proved how savage it is, so Tanjiro grabbed his sword, ready to scrap. Meanwhile, Michiro is still trapped in the demon's water prison. R.I.P., bro. He wanted to enjoy Upper Moon's suffering, but now he had to peek inside the forge to see what the blacksmiths were up to. As soon as he left, the pillar slashed, using his last breath, but the water prison was rock solid. No dice. Looks like the pillar was out of juice and ready to give up. Before leaving, he wanted someone to send word to the master for backup to the village. But then Tanjiro popped up, cheering him on to keep fighting. Hero support mode activated. Upper Moon 5 stormed in. Only Kanamori tried to block, but the blacksmiths weren't strong enough. Kanamori took hits like a champ. Behind him, Haganazuka was laser-focused on sharpening a sword, praising the steel. Upper Moon 5 got mad cause this dude didn't even flinch at him. Epic troll move. As a pottery artist, Gyako admitted he lost in focus battle to this old blacksmith. Humiliation levels, 1000. So he went full rage mode and smashed a vase at Haganazuka, injuring him. The mask broke, revealing the blacksmith's jawline of gods. Instant fan service. But Haganazuka didn't care, still grinding the sword. Zero chill, letting Upper Moon fume outside. Savage dedication. Gyako gave up on eating the blacksmith and focused on breaking his concentration. Otherwise, this dude would be shaming him forever with those skills. Outside, Michiro was still being comforted by Tanjiro's illusion. Even though he knew it was fake, he chatted with it like it was a real dude. Tanjiro kept hyping him up, saying, "Hang in there, Michiro, don't give up, help is on the way." When the illusion finally vanished, Kotetsu showed up near Michiro, knife in hand. The boy couldn't smash this hellish water prison, but Kotetsu urged him to hang tight while he figured out a way to break it. Right at that moment, a fish came out of nowhere behind Kotetsu and straight up lunged, hitting the kid in a super vulnerable spot. Michiro told Kotetsu to run for it, but the dude didn't listen. He even leaned into the water prison to blow some air in for Michiro. That made Michiro remember what Tanjiro said, helping others is actually helping yourself too. Those words hit him like a memory of his dad's advice, and Michiro suddenly found his strength and unleashed his mist breathing. He then flung out a flurry of slashes that obliterated the water prison. At that moment, Michiro realized Tanjiro and his dad really did have the same eyes. Creepy resemblance, right? Even though he escaped the prison, Michio's body was still paralyzed from Gyako's spikes. He was completely drained, Kotetsu was down, and the fish were circling, ready to feast on both of them. With no energy left to fight, Michiro had no choice but to dive into his past memories. His dad was a lumberjack in the forest, and little Michiro loved tagging along to help him out every day. Meanwhile, his mom was super sick at home, and he'd constantly hype her up, saying, "Hang in there, Dad's bringing the medicine." His dad didn't care about rain or wind, and went up the mountain to gather herbs for her. But while reaching out for a plant, he slipped and fell all the way down. In just one night, Michiro lost both his parents. From then on, he lived only with his twin brother, Ayuki. For a long time, the two leaned on each other just to survive day by day. Yukiro kept telling Michiro not to help others, "It's useless, bro." But Michiro clung to his dad's advice, helping others is also helping yourself. Seeing this, Iyukiro snapped, telling his little bro to ignore their dad. He went out in the storm, and they both ended up losing their lives. If dad had stayed home that night, only mom would have been lost. The truth was obvious, but Michiro still argued, making his brother super mad. So Iyukiro told Michiro straight up, "The mu in your name means useless, you literally can't do squat." Life went on with the cold, older bro, and one day, while fetching water, Michiro ran into the lord's lady wife. He brought her home to chat, but before many words were exchanged, Yukiro kicked her out. The lady then revealed the brothers were descendants of sun-breathing swordsmen. Michiro immediately wanted to join the Demon Slayer Corps to fight demons and save people. But Iyukiro lost it, yelling at his little bro. "You can't even cook for yourself, and now you want to be a swordsman, saving people." Classic overestimating yourself, like mom and dad. Mom overworked till she got seriously sick. Dad braved a storm at night for herbs and died, despite Iyukiro warning them. Nobody listened back then. So if you don't listen to me now, Michiro, you'll end up dead like them. From that day on, the brothers barely spoke a word to each other. The lady still visited occasionally, but Iyukiro always chased her off. Life just dragged on, until one summer evening, Michiro got up for a drink. And suddenly, a demon crashed into their home. Seeing it about to attack Michiro, Iyukiro jumped in, blocking the blow, losing an arm and screaming in agony. Then the demon cornered both brothers, and Michiro's rage exploded inside him. He lost all control, and when he snapped out of it, he had ripped the demon apart piece by piece and nailed it down. By sunrise, the demon had completely vanished. Michiro tried to rush back to his brother, but his body was utterly drained. When he got home, Iyukiro could barely speak, whispering weakly. Michiro prayed to Buddha and the gods to protect his little bro. Because he's such a kind-hearted guy, always caring for others. If the gods wanted to punish them, Iyukiro was ready to take it all for his little brother. Before passing, Iyukiro revealed that the mu in Michiro actually meant infinite, not useless like he said before. Thanks to this memory, Michiro awakened his demon-slaying mark. With mist breathing, he swept through all the surrounding fish to save Kitetsu. The kid said Hashira shouldn't worry about him anymore. Because inside, the two blacksmith uncles are in some serious danger, and Uncle Haganazuka, even though he lost an eye, is still grinding away at the sword like a madman, making that upper rank 5 guy super salty but completely powerless. Right at that moment, Hashira charges in with his sword, but this dude dodges like it's nothing. Gyako can't even wrap his head around how Hashira escaped his water prison. And now, the kid even has a demon slayer mark, just like when Hashira attacks, he releases his giant octopus, smashing the whole house to pieces, flinging the two uncles outside like rag. Even though it hurts like hell, Haganazuka keeps his eyes glued to sharpening the sword nearby. Meanwhile, Hashira slices that octopus into tiny bits with the brand new sword Kanamori just forged for him. So, Hashira thanks the uncle like crazy for this perfect new piece of work. But Kanamori just shrugs, saying he simply followed the technique from the blacksmith who forged for him back in the day. Hashira flashes back to those memories with him, a blacksmith who's on his last legs but still cares about Hashira like a parent, not knowing if Hashira will go through more suffering in the future. But Hashira tells him he's good now, so no need to worry about him anymore. With the new Nichiren sword and his mist breathing, he rushes in, cutting down every tentacle of that demon like a pro. But as he gets close, the dude teleports somewhere else like it's nothing. And now he looks down on Michiro, thinking the kid's slow and pathetic, which makes Hashira snap, basically telling this dude to check his neck before it gets too late. He even trolls him, saying maybe living too long has dulled his senses, kind of expected at this point. Upper rank 5 hears this and gets super salty, teleporting behind Hashira. He keeps unleashing water prisons, trying to trap him. But no matter the attack, Hashira dodges like it's a casual stroll. Then he charges in, slicing through all the tentacles and that dude's nasty toys like a one-man army. Meanwhile, Uncle Hoganazuka just keeps obsessively sharpening swords. Kanamori is watching the fight between Hashira and upper rank 5, eyes glued like a hype fan. But looks like both fighters are getting tired, so they take a breather. Instead of swinging wildly, Michiro switches to a face-off with Gyako. Hashira says, sooner or later, Gyako's head is coming off because he's on fire right now. Gyako sees this kid mocking him and gets so mad he's literally purple with rage. He snaps his beak at him like a handsome, charming upper rank like me. A short little punk like you has zero right to talk smack. But try as he might to provoke, Hashira's innocent little face is just not having it. When Hashira looks down at Gyako's vase, he casually wonders if it's all warped or something. That line hits like a crit strike, and upper rank 5 is furious. He pulls out all his vases to prove none of them are bent, showing off like a maniac. Then he unleashes thousands of man-eating fish at Michiro, but with mist breathing, the kid sweeps them all away like it's nothing. But these fish carry a toxin that seeps through the skin. Gyako thinks, this time, Hashira's toast. But Hashira spins and swings his mist-breathing slash, blowing all those fish into the air like confetti. Then he charges for Gyako's head, but the guy quickly sheds his skin. Turns out, his true form is basically a stranded mermaid. Nightmare fuel. Over the years, only 3 people, including Michiro, have seen this ultimate form. His scales are diamond hard, impossible to pierce. Gyako tells Hashira to be scared, kneel, and beg for mercy. But Hashira just stares blankly, not giving a damn, which infuriates this guy even more. Gyako, frustrated that his bragging gets zero attention, rushes in and throws a flurry of punches. Hashira jumps onto a tree, but a punch grazes him, making some fish pop out of his body like a weird magic trick, revealing the toned abs of a 14-year-old kid, no cap. Gyako boasts that his punches spawn cute fish, and Hashira should be grateful for this beautiful hand contact. But Hashira just sticks out his tongue, teasing him that the punch didn't even land. In a flash, Michiro remembers the moment he was about to leave, and luckily, the Lord's wife shows up just in time to save him. Since then, Michiro trains non-stop, and even though his memories are gone, he keeps pushing himself to destroy demons to the very root. At this moment, Gyako lunged forward, spinning his demon blood technique all around Michiro, trying to sniff out even the tiniest slip-up from the mist Hashira and turn him into minced meat. In a blink, the mist Hashira vanished, along with his fog, which morphed into illusions that completely screwed with Gyako's brain. He had zero clue where the guy was hiding. Meanwhile, the mist Hashira unleashed the first form of his breath of mist, charged forward, and swung a blade aiming straight for the top 5 upper moon, Gyako's noggin. Gyako was left utterly confused, thinking the world itself had flipped upside down, but by the time he realized what happened, all that was left of him was a talking head. Even now, he couldn't believe he got wrecked by a literal kid, and for the first time in hundreds of years, someone finally made him lose his head, literally. Michiro didn't want to hear another word from this demon, so he unleashed a relentless flurry of slashes, vaporizing the mouthy upper moon in mere seconds. At this point, the mist Hashira remembered what his master once said: once he regained his determination and toughened up, he'd only get stronger from here. After losing his memory and emotions for a while, it seemed like he finally rediscovered his old self, a kind-hearted kid who genuinely cared for others. So when Uncle Kanamori checked on him, Michiro acted friendly, though his face was ghostly pale. Foam kept spilling from his mouth, and he eventually collapsed from struggling to breathe. Kanamori panicked and called Hoganazuka for help, but the old man was way too obsessed with sharpening swords to actually lend a hand. Right then, Kotetsu showed up, making Kanamori jump, thinking the kid's ghost had returned. Kotetsu had to explain, "Yo, I'm still alive, this blood on me, just my arm got sliced off, no biggie." Thanks to the sword guard Tanjiro lent him, he survived, and Tanjiro asked him to attach it to his new sword. Meanwhile, Tanjiro was still sweating it out, fighting the wooden dragon heads of the combined demon. Since this demon merged all four, it had all four of their powers stacked. So when Tanjiro used his flame god dance, the demon unleashed a scream so loud, it basically blew out his ear. Nezuko tried to jump in to help her bro, but Genya and his gun couldn't hold back these wooden dragon heads, and before long, both Nezuko and Genya were overwhelmed. The fused demon just kept drumming and using the powers of all four demons, forcing Tanjiro to run circles like a hamster on overdrive. So he planned to sprint far away to catch a breath and recover, then jump back into the fight. But before he could escape, the dragon shot its jaws out, snatched Tanjiro, and straight up swallowed him whole. Genya and Nezuko were helpless, and Tanjiro was trapped like a bug in a jar. At that exact moment, the love Hashira appeared under the moonlight, making Nezuko over the moon. With her insanely long sword, she unleashed a flurry of slashes, obliterating the wooden dragon. Then she rescued Tanjiro and apologized for showing up late. Seeing how long he'd been fighting, she told him to chill and let her handle everything. She was 100% confident she could save Nezuko and Genya, too. But Tanjiro's eardrums were toast, so he couldn't hear a thing. Love Hashira gripped her sword and charged straight at the upper moon for. She turned her sword into a rope-like weapon to gag the wooden dragon's mouth. Then she tossed it aside, taking out 2 more dragons in the process. Finally, Mitsuri faced the fused demon, saw it was still young, and yelled at it to drop the hostages and not mess around like that again. The kid demon had the audacity to call Mitsuri a provocative snack and said only Lord Muzan could give him orders. Mitsuri got super salty like, "This is just a kid, how dare you talk trash like that?" Then she remembered, well, technically, he's a demon and has been around for hundreds of years, so maybe some respect is due. The fused demon started drumming to attack her, but she instantly used her love breathing to smash the attack to bits. Even if this little brat is a demon, Mitsuri wasn't letting him off easy. Tanjiro watched in awe. Sword is long and thin, but she moves it with ridiculous speed and precision. The swordsmith nailed it, but the user, absolute unit. With her crazy flexible body, Mitsuri dodges the fused demon's attacks effortlessly. Then she hits it with love breathing, smashing another wooden dragon. No matter the attack, she shreds it at lightning speed. Seeing this, the fused demon used its blood demon art to unleash a massive, wide-range attack. Meanwhile, Tanjiro still searched for a weak spot to chop off the short demon's head, while Mitsuri initially hesitated but quickly regained her composure and jumped into the air. Using the 5th form of love breathing, she unleashed a flurry of strikes to destroy the newly summoned wooden dragons. Then she lunged forward, swinging her long sword around the demon's neck. Tanjiro had to remind her, that's not the real upper moon for body, so even if she gets the head, it won't kill him. The fused demon screamed and attacked her at point-blank range, shredding her clothes and tangling her hair into a chaotic mess. Right now, she couldn't move, and he walked up to punch her. In her subconscious, Mitsuri remembered her past getting rejected by a guy at a matchmaking event. He freaked out over her hair color, worrying their kids would end up looking just as weird. And Mitsuri just couldn't believe she got rejected for something so lame, like seriously, what even? Since she was a tiny kid, Mitsuri was basically a powerhouse like, at just 1 year old. She lifted a 15-kilo rock, and her parents were straight up shook. And if that wasn't enough, she freaking loved eating like she could chow down mountains of food, and still be like, meh, not full yet. With her insane strength, she could take down a pro sumo wrestler without even breaking a sweat, even though she had zero muscle definition. As she grew up, Mitsuri started noticing she was just, different from other girls, always wondering if anyone would marry her with that wild hair color and superhuman appetite. Her parents always told her, look, if marriage ain't your thing, just stick with the fam, it's chill. But, after getting rejected, Mitsuri tried dyeing her hair to hide it. She also tried controlling her eating habits and acted all fragile and dainty. Eventually, her dream of having a husband actually came true. Some guy wanted to marry her. But then she started wondering, is this really okay? because she'd have to spend her whole life with dyed hair and acting weak. Seriously, is there no one out there who'd love the real Mitsuri? Or what? But her self-doubt got cut short when Tanjiro and the squad rushed to save her as the fused demon was about to strike. They whisked Mitsuri away because Tanjiro saw her as the team's literal light and hope, and as long as she lived, victory was basically guaranteed. Tanjiro's words hit Mitsuri right in the feels, so when the demon launched its attack, she jumped in to protect everyone. She apologized to the squad for acting all weak when she's literally supposed to be the pillar of strength. Then she faced the demon and warned, "Okay buddy, now I'm going serious mode." Mitsuri realized that the Demon Slayer Corps was where she truly belonged, and when she arrived, the boss told her that her strength was super special, and anyone hating on her was just jelly. Like straight up envy, nothing more. Hearing that, Mitsuri got super emotional and silently thanked her parents for giving her such a badass body. Here, everyone accepted her, and they treated her like family, super close. Even when she went demon hunting, the people she saved cried and showered her with gratitude. Heck, Mitsuri even found someone who genuinely cared about her Obane, the snake pillar. He gave her striped socks, and whenever they ripped, the love from everyone around her made Mitsuri super appreciative. So she went all out, unleashing her full strength to protect them, and when the demon started drumming for an attack, Mitsuri grabbed her sword and lunged forward, dancing through a few swift strikes. She obliterated the wooden dragons the demon used to attack. Then she told everyone to go after the short demon while she stayed to block this drum-banging menace. The trio followed her advice and went hunting behind. Mitsuri, meanwhile, was fighting the demon while syncing her breathing and heartbeat like a pro. She moved insanely fast, slicing down every wooden dragon the demon summoned. The demon noticed Tanjiro's group running to find its real body and turned to attack them. Mitsuri saw this, spun around, and completely annihilated that wooden dragon in one swing. She warned the demon that it would never touch Tanjiro's squad on her watch. Tanjiro, at this point, was trying to locate the short demon's position with his nose, guessing it was the real body of Upper Moon, for after tracking for a bit, he pinpointed the tiny demon's hiding spot. He tried to decapitate it, while Mitsuri kept the little demon distracted. Mitsuri continued her smooth sword dance against the fused demon's attacks. The demon had no clue how she moved at this insane speed. The Demon Slayer mark even appeared on her neck, and she effortlessly dodged all of the demon's lightning strikes. This made it insanely mad, and every wooden dragon it summoned got chopped to bits by her. Not a single miss. But the demon still cockily thought Mitsuri would tire out eventually. Meanwhile, she stood firm, promising it would never touch Tanjiro's squad. The trio reached the tree where the tiny demon hid, but just as Genya touched it with his sword, the log suddenly extended. It grabbed everyone up into the air, and squirming like crazy, forcing them to hang on tight or risk being flung like ragdolls. Right at that moment, Genya decided to flex for Tanjiro. Showing off his insane power, he chomped down on that tree like a human wood chipper with 0 misses. Genya's power, after devouring a demon, he gains their physique and regeneration like some overpowered cheat code. So yeah, he straight up bit the tree holding the tiny demon's perch in half, making the little guy tumble down. But when Tanjiro charged in with his sword, the demon's branches whipped around like a freaking baton to block him. Seeing her brother stuck, Nezuko spat her own blood and used her demon blood technique to torch that tree chunk. Tanjiro took that chance, unleashed the Hinokami Kagura, and sliced that log clean in half, like a boss. But when Nezuko and Genya went to inspect, the tiny demon was ghost vanished, like it was never there. Tanjiro scanned around and finally spotted the demon, sneaking through the bushes like a scared little mouse. He screamed at it, "No running, bro, you're owning your crimes." But the tiny demon, pure panic mode, head down, sprinting like its life depended on it, while flashbacks of its human life played in its head. It remembered being called a sneaky liar, thinking nobody would ever care for it, and, yeah, the tears came like a waterfall. Then it bolted, forcing Tanjiro and the crew into full-on chase mode. Genya, mad salty, he still can't catch the little brat. So, he powered up with his demon strength, yanked a tree out of the ground, and hurled it straight at the fleeing demon to block it. Nezuko lunged but totally missed the tiny demon and, boom, all three of them were now sprinting like idiots again. Meanwhile, the demon's speed was insane, behind Genya's panting but hyping it up like, yo, what did this snake eat to run this fast? Tanjiro saw all three of them were running on fumes and, if they kept this up, the demon was gonna slip away. Sun's about to rise, but Lentu is still stuck holding back that fused demon, so time's ticking. Tanjiro knew he had to take out this demon before Lentu collapses. But his leg wound? Yeah, he couldn't run anymore. In a flash, he remembered Zenitsu's lesson, lightning breathing is all in the legs. If you know your muscles, you can channel your breath and bolt like a human bullet. Zenitsu's grandpa taught him that. So with his left leg busted, Tanjiro poured every ounce of power into his right. Then he channeled his breathing and shot forward like literal lightning. Spotted the demon, switched to Hinokami Kagura, and went full pyro dance mode. Blade at its neck, all in on arm strength, slicing that head clean off. No mercy, no pause. This was the one shot Tanjiro had to nail it. But the demon freaked out, doubled in size instantly, hands clamping Tanjiro's mouth, almost smothering him. Both hands crushing his face. Tanjiro's vision started going black, but Genya zoomed in, cussing it out like, you cheap trash. Meanwhile, Hantingu screamed a wind blast, sending Genya flying. Nezuko arrived, set Hantingu on fire with her demon blood jutsu, making him howl in pain. Genya ripped off the demon's arms, freeing Tanjiro like a total legend, but had to pull back because Nezuko's flames were scorching him. Tanjiro took that window to finish the demon, but it dragged him back while retreating. They both tumbled down the mountain, with Nezuko hot on their heels. Hantingu was too drained to finish them, his regen slowed way down. Looks like the fused demon used up too much power earlier. Now Hantengu's gotta eat humans to recharge. Behind him, Tanjiro yelled that no matter where he runs, Tanjiro will track him down and destroy him. Hantingu freaked out big time, scrambling to find human meat to power back up. After a bit, he spots three blacksmiths hiding. Once they see him coming, they all bounce hard, screaming like mad. Tanjiro wriggles down to Nezuko, planning to dash straight to Hantengu, but then a voice calls out. A sword flies straight at Tanjiro and, it's from Hagen. But Uncle Haganazuka is a hardcore perfectionist, refuses to let Tanjiro use it's not fully sharpened. Tanjiro, he don't care, sun's coming up, gotta kill Hantingu. He grabs the sword anyway, uncle, yelling or not. Hagen's beat to hell from poison, but still trusts Tanjiro. This blade carries everyone's feels, man. Tanjiro goes full Hinokami Kagura, blasts toward Hantingu, sword at his neck, slashes like fireworks, and boom, the demon's head goes flying. Tanjiro's hypehead's gone, but no rest soon creeping up, so he bolts to Nezuko, yelling for her to hide, pronto. But Nezuko's rushing toward him like she's trying to warn him or something. Turns out, even headless, the demon's not gone. It's herding the blacksmiths around like some chaotic sheepdog. Tanjiro notices the kanji on its tongues, totally different. Oh, snap, he killed the wrong demon. Meanwhile, Nezuko's screaming from the sunlight, burned, so Tanjiro shields her, telling her to shrink herself down. On the other side, the demon was about to catch up with the blacksmiths. But around Tanjiro, his squad was completely wiped out, unable to move a muscle. Meanwhile, in Tanjiro's heart, Nezuko was still dodging the sunlight, making him super conflicted like, dude didn't even know who he should rush to save first. Nezuko totally got how tough it was for her bro to make this call, so she literally shoved Tanjiro outside, telling him, go save those blacksmiths, I got this. In front of Tanjiro now, Nezuko was lying under the sunlight, but her determination was still blazing, and boom, memories of his little sister started flashing in his mind. From the day Nezuko first turned into a demon, to all those epic moments when the siblings fought side by side. Even if it was just for a split second, Tanjiro didn't forget a single memory, and he thought, now even my only family Nezuko might be gone forever. By the time Nezuko closed her eyes completely, Tanjiro landed on the ground. Heartbreaking, yeah, but he couldn't bear to look back. He sprinted straight at the headless demon, hunting for a kill, while also scanning the area to sniff out where Hantanu was hiding. Using his crazy sharp nose, Tanjiro pinpointed Hantanu, shrinking down and hiding in the heart of the demon ahead. And so, Tanjiro launched himself at the demon before it could finish off the blacksmiths, slicing straight for its heart like a man possessed. When Hantanu popped out, Tanjiro went full flame dance mode, aiming straight for its head. At death's door, Hantanu started flashing back on his own miserable past. Even though he was just some petty thief, Hantanu always blamed his rotten hands for everything, and killed anyone who dared snitch to the authorities. Eventually, though, the law caught him for all his crimes, and the price: execution tomorrow. But just as he was about to pay up, Muzan swooped in and turned him into a demon. After that, he slaughtered the entire family of the magistrate, who wanted him dead. Now, facing Tanjiro's sword, he'd finally have to pay for all his sins. He tried to resist, but let's be real, that was hopeless. Tanjiro's blade sliced clean through, decapitating him. And sunlight turned the rest to ash in a hot second. When Tanjiro looked back, the blacksmiths were safe, but he collapsed, knowing Nezuko was truly gone. If she'd been roasting in the sun all this time, even her bones wouldn't be intact. Tanjiro's heart ached, knowing all his struggles were just to bring Nezuko back as a human. But now that she was gone, he didn't even care to fight anymore. But the blacksmiths shouted, "Turn around," and when Tanjiro finally turned, it was like a miracle in front of his eyes. Nezuko was perfectly fine and no bamboo gag in her mouth anymore. Tanjiro thought he was dreaming when Nezuko suddenly spoke. But since it had been ages since she spoke, it took her a few seconds to manage a cheerful good morning to Tanjiro desperately wanted to run to her, just to make sure it was really her. But his legs couldn't hold him, so the blacksmiths had to help him over. Touching Nezuko, he finally believed this was real. He asked if she was okay, and Nezuko slowly replied that she was totally fine. And just like that, Tanjiro hugged Nezuko in pure, unfiltered happiness. He thought she'd turned to ash, but luckily, she was still standing right there. The blacksmiths couldn't hide their joy, and Genya was feeling the hype too. Tanjiro wanted to ask her a million things, but he was totally wiped out. So he just smiled, content, and passed out. Meanwhile, Rengoku was dodging Hokuten's attacks like crazy. And when he ran out of stamina, he just stood there, crying, barely resisting. It looked like she was about to be eaten by the wooden dragon, but luckily, it vanished right at the last second. Hakuten also slowly turned to ash right in front of her. Rengoku was over the moon knowing Tanjiro's squad had successfully taken down the demon's core. Meanwhile, Muzan got super pissed hearing both upper moons had been defeated. But this was the first time he saw a demon like Nezuko survive sunlight. For years, he'd been cranking up the demon count, hunting for blue spider lilies. But now, he didn't even need that. Just eating Nezuko would make him sunlight-proof. Muzan suddenly remembered over 1,000 years ago, when he was just some rich kid, but cursed with a weird disease that meant he'd die at 20. That day, some shady quack brought him a potion that could supposedly extend his life. But even after chugging tons of it, Muzan's condition didn't get any better. He was getting weaker by the day, just kinda sitting there, waiting for death to come knockin'. Thinking that dumb doc tricked him, Muzan rolled up to this guy and basically sent him straight to meet his maker. But plot twist, after the doc kicked the bucket, his weird medicine actually started working. It gave Muzan some insane over-the-top body power, but there was a catch: sunlight was basically a death sentence now. From that moment on, Muzan had this uncontrollable craving for human blood, like he was on some twisted energy drink. Anyone dumb enough to try stopping him, no mercy, nada. But having to hide from the sun, that ticked him off big time. He was frustrated, embarrassed, straight up salty. So yeah, he wanted a body that could literally sunbathe without dying. When he hit up the doc's place, Muzan figured out that the ingredients for the potion came from some rare blue spider lilies. Yep, that's right, blue spider lilies. But Muzan searched all over Japan and nada, zip, zero, couldn't find a single one. Now, seeing Nezuko casually strolling in sunlight, dude was drooling with desire, straight up obsessed. So his #1 mission, snag that girl at any cost. Tanjiro was honestly relieved. Everyone, including Hashira, was safe. Hashira was super thankful to Tanjiro, too, saying he basically found himself again, thanks to him. Also, Hashira noticed something was kinda off with Nezuko, so naturally he asked her what was up. But before anyone could chat, Uncle Hoganazuka stormed in, all fire and fury, asking where his sword was. Apparently, Tanjiro had the audacity to use it before it was fully polished. Classic rookie move. Uncle threatened to smack him, even though the blade was still in one piece. Meanwhile, Love Hashira Mitsuri came running back to the crew. She practically tackled everyone in a giant hug, leaving Jinya blushing like a tomato. Mitsuri felt pure joy knowing everyone was safe and sound. But then Nezuko spoke up, and it made her jump in surprise. Seeing Tanjiro chill and say it's all good, she ran over and hugged Nezuko like crazy. Tanjiro said, straight up, I don't even get what happened to you, Nezuko, but as long as you're alive, that's all I need. Right after, he sent a sample of Nezuko's blood to Lady Tr. Thanks to that blood, the dude Muzan turned into a demon before got his brain back. Finally, Tamayo also noted that Nezuko's blood had crazy changes in composition, like nothing she'd ever seen. She guessed that Nezuko might just be the first demon to ever resist sunlight. There was one thing Tamayo couldn't figure out. Nezuko still hadn't regained full control. But that didn't matter. Right now, Tanjiro's top priority was keeping Nezuko safe. No excuses. She might become Muzan's ultimate target, so Tamayo sent a letter via her little cat messenger straight to Tanjiro. The blacksmith village was trashed after the demon attack. Total chaos. So the villagers all pitched in to clean up and rebuild. Even though Tanjiro was super injured, he showed up to say goodbye and thank everyone. The blacksmith's hard work made the Demon Slayer Corps' victory possible. Meanwhile, his sister was chilling and resting up to recover her strength. Before leaving, Uncle Hoganazuka had something to say, but he was too shy. It took everyone nagging him to finally get it out. He was still salty about Tanjiro using an unpolished sword. So he poked Tanjiro's cheeks a few times, but Tanjiro totally got his heart behind the scolding. He thanked Hoganazuka, who promised to send the sword back pronto, but his shy little face cracked Kotetsu up. Uncle got all grumpy again and proceeded to mess with Kotetsu big time. Then the stealth team arrived to pick up Tanjiro, covering his eyes and nose, just like before. Tanjiro waved goodbye to the villagers and headed back to the headquarters. But after a bit, the stealth girl pulled off his blindfold. The villagers were all outside throwing flowers in gratitude. Full and heartwarming moment. Tanjiro was beyond happy seeing their love and respect. And that scene officially closed Season 3 of Demon Slayer Blacksmith Village Arc. With that, the recap of all 3 seasons is officially done. If you dug it, smash that like and sub to the channel, y'all. Peace out and see ya next time.